If you ever visited my office in Washington, there were 2 pictures on my desk. One picture was of my wife and children. The other picture was of an 11-year-old girl I never met. I prosecuted the man who killed her, but I never met her. She was confined to a wheelchair. She couldn't walk. She couldn't talk. She couldn't feed herself. She was the last victim in the last murder case that I'll ever prosecute. But her legacy was one of joy. She brought joy to everyone who came in contact with her. Despite her physical limitations, she was pure joy. All she could do was smile, sit in her wheelchair and smile. But that is her legacy. I think back to the interview we just did with Janice Dean, turning her own grief into help for someone else. That's a beautiful legacy, turning tragedy into helping others.
That was former U.S. Congressman Trey Gowdy, who prosecuted my daughter's case before going to Congress. He mentions legacies, and I've attempted to leave a legacy in honor of Mia and children like her with special needs by shooting a story for Winter. And I thought that was the end of the legacy, but it was only part of it, apparently. God wasn't done with my telling the story. There's a follow-up to that legacy, and that is what Reckless Mercy is about. And that film deals with the man who killed her, who reached out to me a few years after being convicted and asked for my forgiveness. And with God's help, I was able to do it. Completely Him. I do not claim to have any sort of super spiritual power in relation to this. It's nothing that I feel that we could ever accomplish in our own flesh. But He empowered me to be able to do that and move on. Reckless Mercy is a film that I actually began writing in 1990 and never really got too far with the script, but I recently wanted to co-write something with a former student of mine who's about to graduate film school, Drew Adams, and he wasn't sure what sort of story we should be doing, and so I asked him to go through my junk drawer, and he found that one. He pulled it out and said, I like this. And I had completely forgotten that the story existed. And essentially it was about a man who killed his wife and the unlikely friendship that he builds with a psychologist who has come in to help him. And it deals with the idea of forgiveness and how much can we forgive and still love somebody who has done something as atrocious as murder. And as I saw that sitting on my screen again for the first time in like 30 some years, I was like, God, you were preparing me for what I was going to go through so many years ahead of time. It just floored me. And I knew that this story had to come out now. And so Drew and I have worked on this, and he'll be directing the film. We start shooting in May, and it's going to deal with some very difficult issues. It's a very difficult topic, hard for a lot of people to grasp, but God is infinite in His mercy and His ability to be able to accomplish what we never could in our own human strength. And that's what this film is about. So we've started fundraising for this. And I feel compelled or withheld, I don't know how you say it, by God to not tell you how much money we need. I know how much money we need to make the film, but He's instructed me not to tell you. He's going to provide for this. He's going to provide for this partly through many of you who will come on board and share on this journey that we're taking together in making this film. And what we don't get there, he's going to bring other means. And so I'm not here to pressure anybody or to guilt you or to put pressure and say, oh, we've only reached this amount and we need this much more. I'm not allowed to tell you how much we need. But I'm here to offer you the opportunity to come on board and join us for this journey and be part of it. I'm going to put a link to the PayPal account that you could send donations to help us get this film off the ground. If you would like to play a part in this, and I appreciate anything you can do. And even if you can't donate, and if you could just pray over me and the director and these actors. This last film that I did, Chasing Glamour, it was very apparent to me the entire time I was shooting it that I was doing spiritual warfare. I went to war last year during the making of that film, and I anticipate that as we proceed with topics like this that are challenging us to think more like God and less like the world, that we're going to come up against the same amount, if not more, opposition. And we're going to war. So please pray for us. And I appreciate everything you're doing. I'll keep you informed on how this is going.